Good morning and welcome to Cat's Home Chat. I hope you enjoy today's Living by Design episode. We are going to talk about how to navigate online dating. So if you're single, widowed, divorced, or just looking for love, you want to stay tuned. I'm going to share with you some nuggets of my recently published book, Miracles Online, and my co-host, Jeffrey Wong, who's my Miracle Online for over 25 years, is going to be joining us and sharing his nuggets of wisdom. We're going to take a couple of points from a couple of the chapters that really stand out, and I think you can really find a lot of benefit from. And so without further ado, please welcome Jeffrey Spike Wong, My Miracle Online. Welcome, Jeff.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today?
Got to be doing
Yeah?
fantastic. I know they're doing fantastic.
Well, that's
And
good.
whether you're listening to us on podcast audio or you're watching us live on about 5 different sites, sweetie?
Yeah.
Of course, there'll be replays. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go to Cat's Home Chat and subscribe. We have a plethora of content and try to bring you information that's beneficial to you or someone you know. So share if it's rings true to someone that you know and or care about. We're all looking for love. In this human experience, I think that's universal. We all look for it in different ways and have different needs, but we all have that human innateness to, hey, Melody, to be loved and to love. It's universal. It's God. God is love. We're made from God. It's all one. So I think what we're going to do here, I'd like to bring in the cover, the cover and the back cover, because it's, I think, very well laid out in that kind of describes what the book is about. And then we're going to dive deep into some stuff that hopefully will make sense to you. Whether you're 21 or 81, an interesting factoid, as of 2022, the fastest growing segment of online daters were over 60. And if you read my book, you'll see how what age I was as a single mother of 3 when I started, and you can do the math. I've been married 25 years. We were pioneers, were we not, Jeff?
We sure were.
Pioneers in 1998. So, Jeff, will you do me a favor and start out and read the first 4 little segments on top of the description? Unlock the secrets to finding true and lasting love in a digital world.
No, you go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I'm doing the aspect of getting we're doing the chat. Just so everybody knows, when we're running this type of thing, there's multiple channels of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
LinkedIn, etc.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. So he also doubles as our tech support. When I worked in corporate America, I had to call up to the 23rd floor for tech support. Now I just holler out, tech support, and he comes
That's right.
over. So I'm not going to read the whole back here, but I will tell you, miracles were really above, sideways, below, everywhere in pulling this book together, because it started 25 years ago. And it was put on the forefront because I had another book in mind, but it was put on the forefront when a light bulb went off and I realized that we were going to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. So we put it on speed. All kinds of miracles appeared to be able to bring this together after it's sitting on the shelf for probably 15 years, start up one or two or three times, and when life got in its way. But all kinds of miracles and synchronicities came about. We were able to spend our anniversary in Greece, and with the miracles of technology, hit the plug for release on our actual anniversary of November 18th. And that still gives me chills. I'm not going to give you all the details of how this came about, but I will promote his book. It's called Just Ask, is one of the books, and that's by Mark Hansen, who is the co-author of the Chicken Soup series. And guess who has a write-up on the back, an endorsement on the back of my book? None other than Mark Hansen, amongst a couple other renowned authors, thought leaders, etc. But I'm just going to read to you Mark's, if I can find it with these eyes here. Love in a digital click is now possible thanks to the wise thinking of Kat contained in this book. Happy reading and discovering your true love. Mark Hansen, the world's best-selling nonfiction author and co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'm just going to go ahead and also read Tony O'Donnell, because he was actually, I believe, the first one who jumped on board. He's the author of 15 books and has a TV radio show. And he says, love in a digital click is now possible. Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat. A true book of miracles, Tony says. I believe in miracles. Kat hits all the right notes. Simply magnificent. Order it now. So you're going to, and it's a quick read. It's less than 100 pages with what I call a GPS to online dating. So if you've never done online dating, hopefully this will take the mystery out of it and really give you a roadmap, the do's and don'ts of how to successfully navigate. And I will tell you, and I've talked about this before, I think on another segment, to me, one of the most important chapters is on profile, writing the right profile. And you don't need to be a writer, and have that in your background. You just really need to know thyself. And I go in depth about that in the book. Jeff actually talks about that. There's a segment that he has contributed in the book as well about knowing yourself. So it just takes a little time to sit back and really know yourself, to really craft and attract that perfect match. And I'm going to have a couple of gals on as testimonies as time goes by, but I will tell you, I have a couple of young women. One is in her 20s, one is her early 40s, and they have personally expressed to me how just going in and changing their profile using the guideline in the book has made an exponential difference on the quality of men that they are attracting. And so, it gives me chills to hear that. It's like that's just, warms my heart. Because in writing this book, if we can encourage and instruct and help anyone find their true love through, taking the mystery out of it, or, even you're already doing online dating, help you with some self-correcting to attract that perfect soulmate, then, I've done my job, basically, is how I feel. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Jeff?
Well, I was also on the brink of the internet explosion in the late 90s, as you know. I was working professionally as a webmaster for a greeting card company in Van Nuys, and everything was new. Back then, when we were building websites and, it was hard coding, it wasn't any kind of a drag and drop yet. That was very new.
Yep.
And then, of course, emails. Back then, it was exciting to get any emails, right? Kind
Right.
of like, when you're a kid and you finally get mail in your box, you're kind of like going, whoa. So it was very interesting time. And dating has shifted, especially for me at that point, coming from dating ads or singles ads in back
Right,
of
newspaper
papers.
ads. Yep.
Right. And the reason why I did that is exactly what I think you cover a lot of it is where do you meet people and not just keep on failing in repeat rinse type of environment, which is bars, and things like that. And I
Yep.
was a professional musician as well for the longest time in Los Angeles. So that to me was a dried well that was not going to fulfill me in finding any kind of relationship. So when online dating showed up, it was great because you can go through hundreds of profiles and I like it. No, I don't like it. She looks great. She doesn't look great. How do I look? And all those things. So it was liberating to say the least. To all of a sudden saying, hey, I don't have to read through these ads, call, leave a message, hoping, talk to that person. What do they even look like? How do they behave?
Right.
What do they think about themselves? I don't get any of that other than the phone conversation I have in the beginning.
Sure.
And needless to say, to me, that the biggest thing about online dating is that you're able to put your toes in the water, if you will, right? Oh, I like the person. I like what she said. I like the photo. Let me touch base. Let me send a message, see how they respond. After a couple of those, maybe we email a little bit. After that, let me call you. Let's have a talk. So that to me was a little bit more thorough, a little bit more engaging than just the traditional. Here's an ad looking for love, blah blah blah.
Sure.
So with that, um, I did that about a year and a half before we met. So I also saw the advent of popularity going around. And the interesting part that I'll share this is that some of the people I knew who was now finding opportunities in online dating was coming from chat groups. Like
Oh, right. Right.
yeah, like I have friends who's musicians who would go to chat groups for like, The Cure or something that they found they're interested in their favorite bands and whatnots, and then they meet fellow chat fan base and so forth, and then they end up messaging and then develop a relationship. So I knew something was brewing in the internet in regards to meeting and developing interest. And I felt very excited when I'm hearing other people using the medium, not just necessarily, a dating site, but the dating site aspect. It was nice because back then it was so new that everybody got a free account, right? So it wasn't
Well,
like I had to
exactly.
go.
That's how I was working in corporate America, and a free, for a matchmaker.com came across my
Right.
desk, and I was like, well, this is interesting. So to piggyback on what you're saying, Jeff, for me, I was a single mom working in corporate America at one time, because I was researching for this book before we met. I was on 3 or 4 different sites. I was doing multiple coffee dates every week. I was dissecting and analyzing the nuances of this phenomena called online dating. But one of the things that really intrigued me, to kind of to piggyback on what you're saying, it was the efficiency of it. I mean, I'm a single mom of 3 kids, homeowner, busy, demanding corporate job in management, sales management. So what really attracted me is that you could circumvent those shallow, whether it's the speed, and you'll read it in my book, whether it's the speed dating, going out to drinks, to bars with your friends, someone setting you up on a blind date, any of those different modes, it's really pretty shallow. Where I was just mind blown by, you could get a lot of things out of the way that would take you several chit chat dates of getting to know you that might be important to you. And that's where it circles back that you need to know what are the must haves and what are the would be nices. Like we all have to be attracted to the to the opposite sex. Okay. We obviously do, but that's different. My friend from New York loved men who were bald. She was very much attracted to them. I was like, that's not for me. So on the surface level, you can get a lot of things out of the way. What's their religious preference? Where do you live? What do you do? What are your likes, dislikes? What are your values? I mean, you can get a lot out of the way through the profile screening before you even do send an email or pick up the phone or meet for coffee or what have you. So I really thought that efficiency aspect of it was so appealing. And again, yes, we're talking 1998. We did not have the benefit of the FaceTime, the Zoom, even I think cell
That's right.
phones. Yeah,
There's no
just the
webcam yet.
flip. Yeah,
At least it
so
wasn't commercially around.
it wasn't commercial yet. So we really were
Yeah.
breaking ground. But I think it stands today. You have to navigate the technology. I go through in the book about the safety, safety aspects, the different steps to take, what to look for, what to watch out for, et cetera, so that you can navigate and you can have a successful interaction.
Yeah.
But
Well, let
I
me take
found,
over from that.
okay,
With what you just said, let me go through the table of contents of your chapters, and let's talk
okay,
about that real
okay,
quick, because I really do believe that itself gives more insightfulness to where how much components that goes into effective online dating techniques and strategies. Okay.
before you enter that, Jeff, I just want to say real quick, because Melody, who's on the podcast right now, says, are seniors included in this read?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. And if you didn't hear me at the top of the show, Melody, statistics as of 2022 tell us that the fastest growing segment of online daters are over 60.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't 60, but I was certainly not 30.
Yeah.
So
Well,
over
look,
60. Yeah. So if you think you're too old for online dating, absolutely you are not.
yeah. Let
Okay.
me just make sure that everybody kind of understands Miracle Online. It's really about finding true love. This is not a
Yes.
hookup book to
No.
say, hey, you know what, we're going to go get Netflix and chill. That new generation doing that is they're not discriminating. They're
Right.
not
This is definitely
commit.
not the
Yeah,
book for you if you're just looking for a hookup. Yep.
yeah,
Full
because you could just
disclosure.
say, I want to hook up and then catfish bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the key thing about this, let me just go down to the chapter so you can understand. Chapter one is about virtual beginning, then and now, and we kind of cover that, just how much has grown on the
Sure.
internet, right?
Exponentially. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we really have to kind of understand where it came from and where it's going, where we're at right now. And I think that was really well introduced. And then chapter two is the art of crafting the perfect profile, which I know you believe is one of the key components. And I agree wholeheartedly on
Absolutely.
effective way to attract the right person.
Yep. And
Yeah,
let me just make a note there, Jeff, because I know a lot of my young listeners and young folks that I've talked to, they get caught up in well, everybody's, got the revealing and showing, the boobs and, the sexier, the better. And what happens is you're attracting someone who's maybe more superficial. It's not that we're all sexual beings. It's not that you can't be attractive, but if you're putting it out there from a very sexual standpoint, don't be surprised of the type of, individual that you attract. So I just wanted to make a point of that.
that's right. So with that, key, I think also too is who you're attracting. If you're using, the physicality and the sexuality and you're flaunting that, you're starting with the wrong foot front, you know, going forward and to try to find something that's with uh, substantial substance. So you got to
Substance,
keep those
exactly.
things in mind. So
Yep.
chapter 3 is a great chapter, navigating the virtual maze following the yellow brick road. What that means is there's many paths and many ways to do this, and what this book shows is that how we can really look at this and make it optimally for you. Um, Number 4 is the art of virtual conversation, and this is the beauty of it. You have as much as you want to edit as you're communicating on these messages. So what are you wanting to project to uh, connect with that person that now you found attractive? They've responded, yes, who are you? So what are you saying? That's important. If you're going to blibber in and say, hey, I'm into sunsets and walk on the beach, I like fast cars, then all of a sudden it's like, oh gee, well, I was looking for somebody who wanted to go to the mountains and in light, with nature.
Well, and it's
So
funny that you mention about the walks on the beach, because that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek
right,
generic, and I talk about that under the profile section. How that might look different if you are looking for someone of substance, that you might delve a little bit deeper, because they're going to see that. They're going to see
right.
the sexual pictures. They're going to see oh, I like walks on the beach. I mean, did you get that out of AI? Stupid
There was
AI.
no way I then. Back then,
But
I think we were just thinking one direction. You know what I mean?
right,
We want to be romantic. So what does romantic mean? Romanticism. A lot of people only knew what they saw on TV. You
right,
know, they only knew what they were hearing. Oh, I want to have candlelight dinner, right? Because how often they have candlelight
right.
dinner? I walk on the beach
So I
afterwards to
think
share
rather
thoughts.
than focusing on what that looks like from an external aspect, one might really, you know, go inside yourself to articulate something a little bit more
Right,
meaningful. Yeah.
right.
And what that
Okay,
means to
so
you.
chapter 5 is the pitfalls of online deception and rules of safety. This is a wonderful chapter because it
Yes.
really help you to understand catfishing, right? People
Yep.
faking.
And what to look
Also,
for. Yeah.
yeah, what to look for. Also, red flags. This
Hmm.
doesn't sound right. We might going to show up to this date and he's got duct tape and you know, in the trunk. So you got to be careful, especially today. This when we were doing this in the late '90s, it was a little bit easier because not everybody was understanding this. We got ridiculed a lot, right? It was like, are you so desperate you can't find a date that you're doing this? So it's interesting that a lot of my friends were very out of the box thinkers, and that's why they're my friends. And they look at me and it's like, oh, okay, so you're doing this, and they knew that a year prior to this, I was playing in a band and I had no idea how to operate a computer. I had a friend that taught me what the basics of using a mouse and window OS, and off I went, I bought a computer and taught myself how to work this by spending 10 hours a day for 30 days straight, you know? And what that does for me is that it opened up a door that I think that hardly anybody was going through it. Because think back on how many people, especially now grandmothers and mothers that was older in age, is saying, "Oh, I will never use a computer. I will never trust doing banking online. I would never buy anything with a credit card online." I used to hear that all the time, right? Not the same. So
Well, and,
that
and
also,
here's the good news of it, Jeff, is, I come, as you know, from, corporate sales background, and, I was always driven, and, numbers is a game, or say, the numbers are a game. It's simply numbers. The more people you call, the more people you touch based on your closing ratio, et cetera, and so forth. And it's really about life. The more times we do something, the better we get at it.
that's right.
Repetition
That's
is
right.
the mother of all skill. We've
That's right.
talked about that. The
Yep.
21 days,
Yep.
and it's no different than online dating. When you think about it, how you are opening up an exponential amount of numbers, and then you drill it down as best you can with that profile and those needs and knowing who you are, et cetera. But we've talked about it, and it's in my book. As a single mother, I would go to the gym after work, and how many visits at the gym am I going to think, oh, that guy's kind of cute, I wonder if he's even single, oh, well, maybe in a month or so, maybe we'll be on the treadmill together and we can strike up a conversation, and you fantasize for it 2 months, and then you're next to each other and you find out either he's a creep or he's married or attached. And,
well, see, that's interesting thought, because I also went to a commercial gym, Bally's, and LA
right.
Fitness and all those places.
Yep.
I always found it extremely tacky that you're working out and you see somebody attractive, you want to go up there and make small talk.
Right.
Even though I'm a big flirt, I just always felt that to be tacky. At the same time, I'm there to train. I
Yes.
remember having, a couple of really attractive ladies that I see every day at the gym. I was religious 6 times a week.
Yep.
And after a couple of months, one of them actually came up to me, we're working out near each other and start making conversation. I was in no mood, even though I found her attractive. I just was like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm working out,
Exactly.
and that's the
Exactly.
part that, did I miss out?
It's
It's
a
just the wrong
mindset, but
environment.
at least it was, organic. But I agree with you. That's why it was really such an ineffective way to meet people, because, the opposite of going to a bar, there it's a pickup, and what kind of depth are you going to meet in a pickup bar? That's hard to come by. But yes, you want it to be organic. You're there to work out.
Right.
But if you're single, you can't help but, get your eye on someone or what have you.
Right.
But yeah, if on the occasions that someone would kind of come on to me at the gym, it was very off-putting. It has to be organic.
Right.
It had to be organic.
Right.
So say all that to say, look at the odds, the pool of online availability across, the sky's the limit. The geography is
Right.
totally limitless.
Right. Okay. So now let's go to chapter 6, the power of vulnerability. Right. So now, how much you tell, how much you put out there. But again, this is so much better because you're in control. Vulnerability is going to a bar, drinking alcohol, lose inhibition. You get brave and you start thinking, hey, now I can feel liberated to speak my mind. And next, you're having a one night stand and you're upset with yourself. Right? I
Yeah.
heard this story from so many people. It's
Yeah.
like, I didn't mean to sleep with that person, but I did. All of a sudden, this person is not what I thought, and they're clingy, or they're off-putting, or they just used me, and I have a bad feeling. And that becomes a vortex of self-destruction. What I mean by that is not necessarily, tragic, but in a way of defeating yourself, because now you're getting impressions of, every time I go to that establishment, and if I have alcohol and I meet somebody I like, I know the result is going to be horrendous because of previous imprints of the experience. So that's important. I felt that being able to have a strategy, online dating, and doing it with intent of, I want
and
to find.
yes,
Yeah.
and honesty. It's a short chapter, as I'm going through this book, and I don't think this was a final version, but the power of vulnerability. And it, to summarize it, in my opinion, it's unmasking your perfection and being honest. That's where we, turn up a card one at a time as we begin to build a trust. Is, and having that wisdom of vulnerability, of, how much to tell and how much, but the bottom line is to be authentic and
That's
to
right.
be honest, I think.
Absolutely. And then, let's talk about this. Chapter 7, the trial of distance. What can you elaborate on that, Kat?
Well, you and I, of course, we didn't struggle with that, but we had that.
Right.
It wasn't long distance. There's
It
been
was long enough. It was an hour and
there's
a
been
half.
a lot of successful unions where they were cross state, or
Right.
even time zones, things like that. So the book talks about, virtual date night adventures, the art of the art of patience, and of course now we have so much more advanced technology, where you and we would spend hours on the phone. I was actually going to massage school, Southern California School of Massage, after my day corporate job at AT&T, and we would talk on the phone, crazy in love, young, like 10 o'clock at night till sometimes 4 in the morning. Then he had to go to work. I had to go to work. But where there's a will, there's a way. And we didn't have, like I said, we didn't have the video thing. We only saw pictures until we actually met about a month later.
And I drank 2 pots of coffee every day during that period.
Oh, you drank a lot of coffee, huh?
Yeah. Well, and I will say this to the world, that I had definitive idea of how I want to develop a relationship and what I want the relationship to become. And I made that very clear. And you made it very clear. As soon as we both felt that we were a great fit, there was no more of, oh, let me keep on looking. Let me just put you on the side burner and I'll keep the stove on. At that point, it was strategizing on my end. Okay, if this is that, then I found you. And how do I go about making our lives start together? Right? This is why that from day one of me finding your profile and then 6 weeks later, we're getting married. How that happened wasn't that, okay, we just fell blindly in love. There was absolutely a lot of research and systematic approach to our understanding each other as human beings, as loving friends, as intimate, couple. All those things we discussed.
Shared values. I mean, I think that was one thing that really connected us from the first however many hour phone call, was that we shared the same values, the foundation, which goes beyond, do you like walks on the beach? That's, kind of shallow. That's okay if you're just looking for a companion. And, it's not to say this book will only guide you for your soulmate, for your miracle online. I think it could well serve, using this digital medium for true companion as well. Just not, the thing that it isn't is it's just not a booty call hookup.
Okay, so let me go to chapter 8. But before I do that, you want to go ahead and put your QR code up.
Okay.
So that way we get a different, there you go. See, everybody can scan QR code, go to Kat's website and kind of look through stuff.
It's an easy read. It's a GPS for online dating. I think it's less than $10 or $11 on Amazon. Buy it as a gift. Valentine's is coming up. I don't know about you. Back when I grew up, it's like all these false social stigmas of not having a Valentine or not having a date on New Year's Eve, and all those silly things. I think our species, and especially women, have grown past that much. But if you know someone who's just struggling with being, exposed and finding their perfect match, this is a great gift for Valentine's or otherwise.
For everybody who's looking for true love.
Yep.
That's really the fact. And this leads us to chapter 8, weathering the storm. And I'll make this very clear to everyone. You want a lasting, true love. You personally have to make a decision on your commitment to be the fullest, the most intentfulness of no breakup, no outs. This is it. And if you're with that, then you need to communicate that intently to the other person, that if we do this, this is it. This is no outs, and we're doing this together. So are you ready to be with me forever? In this lifetime, meaning, right? And that's, to me, the key component of, there is no up and down when you go that direction. There is obstacles, but you won't break up. You won't be defeated. You won't be disappointed, because you will argue, fight, whatever, but you know that you're together to solve this problem or this obstacle, this thing. Don't cheat. Don't do stupid crap, because when you make that intention of this is no outs, this is forever, you have to be honoring that decision to yourself first and foremost. If you're the type of person that can't honor anything to yourself, then you shouldn't be wasting other people's time. You need to go get fixed on yourself first, right? If
Yep.
you can't come to a relationship ready and make that kind of commitment, then don't lie about it.
And it comes
Don't.
down to, back to the profile, know thyself. It's 10:35, so I want to move to the next 30-second, and then we'll wrap up. Jeff, I so appreciate your input, and I'm so grateful and thankful for you being my miracle online.
That's right. And and to wrap up this, embracing the true love, we've developed a 25 going 26 years relationship. This marriage has lasted, I think, beyond everybody who initially said you met him online. Here's a corporate,
Against all
sales
odds.
and professional in a business suit, and I'm a long-haired guy that played in a rock band that was a webmaster. Talk about really not in the same level of where we would have met in any kind of pure situation. But online dating brought us together and it worked. And we obviously, like Kat says, she put this book off for decades, but there's a lot of truth to this. This is proven a successful formula. And we
Yes.
are the residual and the results of these applications. 26 years of marriage that is solid.
Love it. We're
That
the
is
residual. I
cornerstone,
love that. I love that, Jeff.
right?
I'm going to play this 30-second. Hopefully it's spinning. Here we go.
Yep. There you go. Now, why is it skipping?
I don't know.
It froze. Ah, this is typical. See, technology sometimes is great, sometimes it's not so great. It's still there. And we have
Maybe
incredible
it's
bandwidth.
something that I'm doing.
No, if you started the video
No,
and
it's moving. Okay.
Yeah, see, it's skipping for some reason.
Maybe it's StreamYard.
Yeah, it could be. Well, again, this is a video that I put together as a company for Yayu Publishing to show the book to the world.
I don't
And
know why it's skipping.
I don't know, just stop it if it's doing this for whatever reason, But here's the key.
But I like the end. It's like,
Yep.
And for those that are just listening, that can't, hear this, it's like, if you're ready for love, all you have to do is take action.
Yep.
That's if you're ready for life. And I'm going to close out this segment. Miracles happen if you're ready when you're ready to take action. I love that, Jeff, that you put there. Miracles happen when you're ready to take action. And that's in love, in relationship, in abundance, in family, in everything, really. We can't just sit back and go, okay, God. We got to put it in God's hands and then go, okay, show me and use me. What can I do? What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And I think it goes well with, our new tagline for 2025, and that is "Let's thrive in 2025."
Okay.
Not strive.
Absolutely.
Not strive. Let go. Relax. Let put it out to the universe. But then our action will propel us to thrive. And I wish you all love and your miracle online. And pick up the book if you're moved to do so.
Remove the video so we can be on full screen. There you go. Okay. So I also wanted to make sure that everybody recognize that we're wearing red. We're getting ready to get into this love season of the Valentine's Day and all that. And I know that's a big manufactured holiday, but yet within the heart of love, that's really what truly you need to find. And to celebrate red is that number one thing that we talked about at our house this week is that FDA is going to remove red dye number 5, an outlaw.
Yes. Yes,
right?
red dye, red dye. Is there a number for it?
I thought it was red dye number 5.
Is it red dye
But
number 5? I don't
it just
know.
red. Any colored dye is horrible, but red dye has
Any
been
color
always
dye, but red
yeah,
is the worst. They've linked it to autism and cancer, all
cancer.
kinds of stuff. And
Yeah, the big
it's a
C.
small step for humanity, as they said in NASA, but it's a beginning. And
Yep.
you know, many people like us have been to Europe, and the food is clean. You don't
Yep.
have to ask. I've stopped asking, is it organic? Is it? Well, of course it's organic. They
Yep.
don't pollute their foods like we do.
That's right.
So those who've heard me before know I'm passionate about health, mind, body, and spirit. But you know, it starts with, you know, not only what we put in our ears and our eyes, but in our bodies.
Yep.
You know, our temples, really. You know,
Yep.
and so yay for the FDA finally doing that, and hopefully it will open up the door for this new administration to make America healthy again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, go out and get the book for your friends, for your family, for yourself, and use it effectively. Find the true love in your life, and then come on Cat's Home Chat, and we can all celebrate and talk about it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to make one last plug because I've been really remiss. But if there are any attorneys, divorce attorneys out there, connect with me, because I'm offering branded bulk rate for attorneys to gift this book, if it's appropriate, to their clients. On that, have a
Yep.
super weekend, and we will hopefully come to you live again next week. This was the
Yep.
108th episode. And
Yep.
until
Find your
then,
true love, and God bless.
find your true love. Yes. God bless. Love you.